Welcome along to Get in the Habit with Sue Allsworth.
And David Finch. So
Okay.
Today we welcome everyone. Today I thought that from our intro, the first episode we ever did, we just sort of explained a little bit about what getting in the habit was going to be about in the podcast. But today I thought we'd get to know David a little bit better. And I'm going to throw the question over to you, David, because we all had to sort of we've all got habits from the moment almost we're born, and we as we're growing we get into sort of unconscious habits, don't we? And some are good because we've been instilled with good habits, some not so good because we've learned bad habits. But when was it in your life that you sort of realized, either when you started to do your hypnotherapy or maybe before then, of when you thought, I need to change my habits? And what habits did you feel that you had to change, and why?
Oh dear, what a question. So I can't wait to ask you this next time. That's a really good question. And it deserves a great answer as well. So I'll come up with what I can. So I think habits, we, like you say, we get them almost from when we're born. And I've really got this theory about this. And this is not a theory that I've had just in the last few years since I've been a hypnotherapist. Actually, this come around when I used to be a trainer. So I used to be a corporate trainer for a big telecoms company a few years back, well, quite a few years back now. And we used to do lots of training, very behavioural training, shall we say. And lots of habits we used to talk about then. And one of the habits we used to talk about was, and this is really crazy, and it always gets people when they go, oh, I never realised I do that. So I'm going to ask you a question in a moment, all right? And I want you just to automatically tell me what you do. Don't think about it too much, because when people start to think about it, you lose the point of it. So when you put trousers on, now I don't know, so we've never really met, so I don't know if you wear trousers. I haven't even seen you from here up. So I don't know if you ever wear trousers or you always
do.
Okay. So, but the men that are watching and the ladies that are watching who are listening that wear trousers, which leg do you put in first?
Right.
Right leg first?
Yes.
And then your left leg? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm completely opposite. I always put my left leg in first, then my right leg in. And then how about with your socks? Do you put your right sock first and then your left sock? Yeah. Okay, and I always put my left sock, then my right sock. Now, which hand? Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Yeah, and so here. So it doesn't really, because a lot of people say, oh, it's because I'm left-handed and I do it the other way to you. And I said, no, I don't think so. So I think this habit, and I don't know because we can't zoom back in time and see, but I think this habit comes from, and actually you could ask your mum and dad later, because you've got your mum and dad to ask, haven't you? So you could ask your mum and dad later and see if they can remember when you was a child. I think what happened, they put your right leg in first into maybe socks and any trousers you were wearing when you was little, and that became your habit. That became what you did. And I think that my mum, my dad, whoever was dressing me at the time when I was little, used to put my left leg in first and then my right leg. Now, I don't know this, but this is just a theory that I've got. And I've asked so many people that, what do? They put left leg, right leg. Right sock, left sock, so on, And once you get to shoes, do you put your right shoe then your left shoe?
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Now you've got me thinking about, and I'm even sitting there thinking, which way do I put my knickers on? Because that's something that we would
You didn't warn me. I was just taking a sip of my tea then. So.
I've always been told I've got good comedic timing, even without trying. But no, we would all have to put pants on, wouldn't we, at the end of the day, male or female in theory. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so what way do I do that? So, yeah.
Is it your right leg in your knickers first?
Yeah, I would stand on my left leg. Yeah. There's a bit of personal information for everyone, but no, it's now you pose this question. It's
Yeah.
I'm thinking how I put a jumper on as well, or a t-shirt on or something. Which
Oh,
arm do I put in first, and things like
yeah.
that.
Now, then we're getting into a whole new realms of things because then I've seen people take jumpers off, and this work on the videos for people who are watching on YouTube, but people who are listening on the podcast, it probably won't work. But I've seen people get hold of the bottom of the jumper. So if I stand up like this, and then kind of pull it over their head, and I don't know how you do that. I can't do that.
That's how I would do it.
I pull mine from here, take my head out first, and pull it over the top like that. That's what I
No,
would
see, no, I would pull the whole thing off. Yeah.
Now that to me feels really alien. Now the great thing is, and where I'm going with this, right? Tomorrow when you get dressed, try putting the other leg in first, and try putting the other sock on first, and just see how it feels. All day long, your legs feel really weird. You know? No, they don't really. But yeah, it just feels strange to suddenly change the habit. Now, lots of people come and see me, as you know, working as a hypnotherapist, and they are in habits. So they have their own habits as well. Maybe a habit of smoking, maybe a habit around eating habits with people for weight loss, and so on. Lots of different habits that they have. So I do this with them and say to them, look, which leg do you put in first? Which arm do you put in first in your jumper, and so on? Because then it hits home. Yeah, I do that. So then I say, right, change it tomorrow and see what happens. And it feels weird. But I say, look, if you carried on doing that, I always put my left leg first in my trousers. So if I carried on putting my right leg first, after a while, probably 3 or 4 days, it wouldn't feel so weird, would it? It'd be okay, So you see lots of theories, and you hear lots of theories about it takes 21 days or so many days to create a new habit. I think you can create a new habit much quicker as long as you're happy with the habit, if that makes sense. So if you're happy putting your right leg in or your left leg in, and it feels okay to do it, you'll carry on doing that, as we have. We have done that through our lives, haven't we? Our habit was formed, let's say, when we were children, to put our left or right leg in and our left and right leg socks on first. And we were comfortable with that, so we carried on doing it. So
it was almost all that we knew.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we
because
didn't know
you wouldn't even think. Do you know what? It's not even occurred to me that I could do it the other way around. To be fair.
The other day,
blow my mind, David. I'm going to have a whole new experience. I can't wait until tomorrow morning now, because I'm going to have a whole new experience of doing things.
It's crazy, isn't it? The other day, we had the grandchildren over because, as you know, I'm in Wales and we've got this lockdown at the moment. In Wales, we haven't got it so much. We're okay. So we're okay with travelling at the moment. I know in certain parts of England you can't do it. But we had the grandchildren over, and I watched my son put on my granddaughter's clothes with her trousers, and he was getting a change, and I thought, I really can't wait until she's old enough to do her own trousers and see which leg she puts first, to see if that is where that habit is created, because that would really top off that theory, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because I can see her then grow up. Maybe I can't remember which leg I used to put when my son was little. I can't remember if I used to put the right leg or the left leg first. So I can't sort of go back in time and see that. So now I can see what he's doing with her, and then hopefully in a few years' time, she'll start to dress herself, and I'll see then which leg she's putting in first. And she's left-handed. So again, I don't think it has to do anything to do with left or right-handed people.
What the initial way to start with, isn't it? You just, and then once you've learned something, then that becomes your innate way, and you think that that's sometimes the only way, and it's not then until as we've got on and life and experiences, and you then start to examine things a bit more closely and think, actually, that habit doesn't serve my highest good. And it's things like, it's similar. I sit cross-legged a lot.
All right.
But I've got a way innately of, when I sit cross-legged naturally, my right leg will go on top of my left leg. That's my comfort zone.
Your left leg. Yeah,
so when I'm sitting cross-legged, my right leg's are the one that's at the top and the left one's at the bottom. Now, I've had some trouble lately with hips and things. Bit of old age, probably, or middle age creeping in there. And I've realized that actually, to alleviate the pain, because I can't not sit cross-legged. It's even now in this chair, you can't see me, as you know, we've only met from here upwards, but I'm always cross-legged on a chair or anything, partly because I think it comes from I have a height issue, as in I'm quite small. So even in primary school, those little chairs, my legs would be dangling, and a dangly leg's not comfortable. So I would always end up sitting with one leg hooked up under or something, just to be more comfortable. Same still, even now, the big adult chairs, still are too big for me, sort of thing. So I've now had to sort of, just as you were talking then, I was suddenly sitting there and thinking, actually, good reminder, I need to uncross, I need to sort my legs out, so that I'm trying to alleviate. And also, you're using different muscles when you do that. So it is, that's why you have one side stronger than the other, because you've got that natural tendency to go to one side. So I'm sitting here and I've been doing this for a few weeks, actually. And when I first started doing it, it felt uncomfortable. And now, when I consciously change it over, it doesn't feel uncomfortable. But I still have to consciously go, actually, I need to sit with my legs the other way around. It hasn't quite yet got to be the innate habit, because my default is still
the other way around.
The other way around. But it's really, you posed a really good, interesting insight there. And I mean, I don't know how many people who are going to listen to this now are going to see what they do in the mornings. They'll be thinking of you or me, David, one or the other. We've planted that seed. But it is really, we learn a lot of our habits, don't we, by environment?
I think so.
Parents, friends. And then we think that that's our habit. When do we get to that point in life as an adult, probably more than as a child, maybe in your later teens, that you think, do you know what, actually, this isn't how I want to do, this isn't the habit. When does that happen, it click in us? You know what I mean?
And maybe that's those teenage years where people start to push boundaries a bit more, and I want to be like this and I want to be like that, and kind of have and they want to be different, shall we say. And I can remember as a teenager being exactly like that. I just wanted to be different to whatever my mum and dad, certainly, because I think up until that point, you see, your mum and dad kind of, or whoever's bringing you up, are the people that give you those rules, habits, whatever you want to call them, the guidelines, and then all of a sudden you get your own mind and you want to rebel against all that kind of stuff, and you want to be different, and maybe then you create new habits, different habits that you form yourself. But I do believe that people form habits of the people around them. So again, if you've got a circle of friends, and I see a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but I see some people for stopping smoking. They want to come to a hypnotherapist to stop smoking, but they have a circle of friends who also smoke. So they're in the circle of friends that smoke. Now, it's great then if their circle of friends don't smoke and they're the odd one out, because they find it really easy. Because the support network, if you like, or the habit around them is one of non-smoking. When they are the smoker in a habit, in a group of people that all smoke, then they're the odd one out then if they don't smoke. So you really have to kind of work on that, work on the habits that go with it, because smokers will kind of encourage each other to smoke, as other people do, with lots of different habits. If people meet for, a
I'm
social...
sitting here with a smile on my face because I'm the first to say no one's perfect. I am certainly not perfect, and you are sitting here actually talking to a smoker.
Right. Okay. Yeah. There
Which
we
is
are.
something you probably never knew about me.
Yeah. I know all about you now, so.
I know. Well, there's no point. I'm not. There's no point in being embarrassed about these things. I've smoked since I was 15, and it's interesting you saying that, because a lot of my friends don't smoke. Although
Right.
actually, at the moment I'm not around friends because we're not allowed to be around friends. So I was listening to that quite interestingly, because and I've done my own thing, shall we say, with that, in that sense. But yeah, it's really, I think with anything that we do, we learn, as you say, we incorporate habits subconsciously from whoever it is that we are around. So if you're around a group of negative thinking people, you become in that loop of negative thinking. And I know on that wavelength, for example, I really had to, my mind didn't become my mind until quite late in life, really, if I look back on it to some degree. It wasn't, I didn't have that it was that aha moment that, and if you're sitting here listening and watching and thinking, what's she talking about? Your mind really is your mind. It is nobody else's. It just is on autopilot for the majority of your actions and habits, because they've been innate in you since whenever you pick that habit up from wherever, the environment and what have you. But actually, I had that aha moment of, okay, so I don't have to do things like that. I don't have to do, just because that's the way I've always done it, does not mean to say it's actually the best thing for me, who I am right now. And I always check in with my habits, because they need changing and updating. That's the one thing I've learned actually with habits, is they do need, almost, you need to allow them to evolve, the same as you're evolving. And when I was evolving and changing the habit of from negative to positive thought very consciously, I had to change the people I was around.
Yeah, and that is so true of a lot of people that I see as well. I say that as we discussed before in other podcasts, you are really a sum of everyone around you and what you do. The music you listen to, we discussed music in our last podcast, didn't we? The music you listen to, the books you read, the films you watch. You are that person of what you do and who you are. And that really does then create those habits around that. I've got another theory as well, all right, about habits. And get this one, all right? So a lot of people listening or watching this will resonate with them. So, and I did a bit of a test with this back in January. Now, January, it was pre-lockdowns anywhere, really, wasn't it? It was a different world then. We went to Egypt. Me and my wife, we went to Egypt, stayed in a place called Hurghada in Egypt, in a hotel. And I think we get into habits really quickly, and this will really knock the nail on the head when I say that, right? So picture a restaurant in a hotel. We've probably all been to those kind of places before, and very quickly, very quickly, probably within 2 days, right, we sat within the same table, or certainly within the same area in the restaurant. Whether that was sometimes at exactly the right same table, or if we couldn't get on that table because other people were there, we'd sit on the next one, or wherever, but certainly within a boundary of the restaurant that we felt comfortable. And then I thought, right, okay, we've got into that habit, because this was kind of like running through my mind then about habits and how we form them really quickly. And then I watched other people who was having breakfast or lunch or dinner at the same times, and they all sat in the same seats as well. So I could sit in my seat here. I'd look over there and I'd see the same person who was sitting there at breakfast yesterday, and they'd be sitting there tomorrow, and over there there'd be someone else who would again be sitting in the same seat, more or less, maybe a table or two difference. And we were only there for, what did we go, 10 days, 7 days or 10 days? It was 7 or 10 days anyway. It wasn't like 21 days to form that new habit. So, but we were definitely in a habit of sitting in the same place within a couple of days because it felt comfortable.
But that habit would have started prior to that holiday.
Do you think so?
You would have, yes, because if you think back to every holiday that you've had, I bet you had the same habit.
What, sitting in the same place?
Sitting in, wherever you go, you sit in the same place. It's kind of like, now you've said it. If you think about on a different scale, it's got me thinking. When I've been to on retreats, when I've been on courses, and that, we're all told to sit in a circle, all the chairs are there. Everyone gravitates to the same chair that they were on the day before.
Yep, that happens on my training courses.
So it's the same theory, so we've got this, whether it comes down to this ownership of that's my spot and everything, because I can always remember one of the first ever courses that I'd gone on where someone turned around and said, right, when you come back from break, I want you to sit in a different chair so that you're able to get a different perspective.
Yeah, I'll tell you what,
freaked me out. It was like my comfort zone. It was like, but that's my spot. I've got my little. I feel safe here. I know who I'm surrounded by, and then it was like, oh my God, I've got to change. But yeah, thinking about it, how many holidays have you been on that you've done a similar habit?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and if I think about it, if I go to sometimes I'll go to the local pub for a pub dinner. If I'm working late or whatever, I'll nip over there in between clients or whatever, and have like a dinner in the pub. I'm sure we all know the name of the pub. It starts with a W. And I'll go over there, and I always, I couldn't do it the other day because we have to sit in certain places now. But generally, I will sit exactly the same table all the time.
So this is a habit that is ingrained in us for not just on those holidays. Yeah, that's really got me thinking. I'm like, if I will, my habit would be to always, wherever I am, unless I'm led to sit somewhere, my habit would be always to aim for a corner.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Now, again, there's something in that, because if you know anyone who's been in the military, the police, or any of those kind of services, generally they will sit so they can see the whole of the should we call it the pub or the restaurant or wherever they are. So generally they make sure they know all the exits are and everything else.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. So they do a quick scan around, and a lot of people, whether they've been in the military or not, still fall into that kind of, I think it's a safety aspect of, right, if I sit here, I can see everybody, I know what's going on, I know where the exits are. It's kind of a safety thing. Maybe, I don't know, because I do that, and I've never been in the police or the military or any of those. So I don't know where that actually comes from, but I do it. And so the place I was describing to you is exactly that. I'll sit in a place where I can see everybody and everything, and I'm scanning that I know where I can go, where I can get out, and everything else, should I need to. And it's weird, isn't it? Why do we do that?
No, I know. I mean,
I don't need to be safe. It's in a little town,
It's what we're used to, and it becomes an innate thing that we're not even consciously thinking about. I always say to people when I'm talking to people about habits, so are you right-handed or left-handed when you write?
Right-handed.
Right-handed. So I always then say to people, so you've got a new habit to introduce into your life, and it's going to feel uncomfortable for a while. So to explain that, to get them to feel it, I would say pick up a pen and paper and start writing with your non-dominant hand.
Yeah, that's so difficult.
Because I mean, I use a lot of non-dominant hand, and that's for another talk, for doing inner child work. So that's how I've started to use that. But yeah, you've just done that. It feels uncomfortable. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
The
Oh, good.
writing's not good. Your writing looks like you were just literally picking up a pen for the first time and starting at school, isn't it? But the more you do that, like anything, I haven't done it for quite a while, but there was a time where I was doing an awful lot of inner child work. And so for me, my dominant hand represents my adult self, my non-dominant hand represents my inner child. So I would do conversation and letter writing and cross them over. And so my left hand for a while there was actually getting quite good, and it became and felt more natural each time that I did it. But the first time, so I always say to people, you know, nothing that we start, any habits that we start, never necessarily feel comfortable, but they will become more comfortable. And as you say, sometimes, and I'm actually in agreement with your theory, because we hear a lot about this 21 days, 28 days. At the end of the day, if it is not a habit that you really want to take on board and embrace, 21 days or 28 days won't make a difference, because it's not actually where your authenticness is, and it's not actually something that you should be, that you want, you've got the will to want to do. And it's strange because we had on the Words Have Power Summit, Mind Body Soul Summit, back in September, I think it was, October. There was one lady, a hypnotherapist trained as well, a good friend of mine, Jackie. She was doing a talk about getting in the habit, breaking the habits. And at that time, she was talking about, like, and she caught me out on another bad habit. See, I'm someone that, you know, my name's Sue, and I've got some, I'm not going to say they're bad habits, because I'm actually okay. I've come to peace with whatever my habits are, I'm okay with, and I've removed ones that's, you know, and everything. But nail biter,
Right. Okay.
big habit. So she had said something, and it just got me thinking. And you know what? And I have go through stages, you know, with that. And within 5 days, I had stopped biting my nails.
Yeah.
Because something she just said clicked, got me to see it in a different way. And it was like, so what I had to do just to start with was be mindful. Don't do that. You stop, it's catching yourself so that you don't. And then I went out and bought loads of nail files so that I've got them everywhere. So if a nail broke, I'm not there, you know, nibbling away. I've got my nail files, so I'm getting into that habit and what have you. Yeah. And it didn't take me 21 days in that time. It was just I can remember it. It was actually, do you know what? I can do this.
Yeah. So
and I wanted to.
Yeah, you felt good about it because you wanted to do it. So you enjoyed it. So that reinforced that habit, if you like, you know, the good feeling, reinforced it. And then you thought, I'll carry on doing this. So it formed a habit. So I believe that's how we get our habits. It's what we enjoy doing. And if you didn't enjoy doing it, well, then surely you wouldn't do it, you know? So
that's why I don't exercise every day. And now that's a whole nother podcast that's going to be coming up within the next week or two, because we've got someone on coming on to talk about exercise actually very shortly. But no, it's so true, isn't it? You know, we don't, unless you enjoy that habit, if it's for like meditation, you know, everyone says you should get into the habit, meditation once a day, blah 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 blah. But if it's not something you enjoy, that is you will take forever and a day to get into that habit, because there's a part of your brain that's just going, don't want to. I don't, you know, that insolent child within you going, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. No.
I'm not doing it. Yeah, exactly. And I really do. That's how we get our habits. We enjoy them, you know, and we we have those habits, we reinforce those habits because we're comfortable with them. So when I said we enjoy them, perhaps we don't enjoy some of our habits, but there was an enjoyment once. Like with your nails, there was a point that for whatever reason you bit your nails, and then you decided, once that lady said a few different things to you, that's what we call conversational hypnosis, actually. So a lot of hypnosis is done in conversation. You don't have to be in a trance with people.
No.
Lots of things.
It's just receiving the right message at the right time and just going, yeah, actually, that's something. I think actually I know what it was, partly. I'm on video a lot more. And for example, when I am doing a card session, shuffle, and I'm showing cards.
Right. Yeah.
I've got my hands on display, whereas they wouldn't be normally.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where I sort of started to think, actually, look, that will look nice with some. I haven't got nail varnish on today, but those sort of things. And it was that consciously, because I enjoy. So it's not that I necessarily enjoy giving up biting my nails, but I enjoy what I do. Yeah. And I want to do the best presentation, and no one wants to see nibbled nails, sort of thing. So that was my, and I really enjoy doing this. So I'm going to stop doing that so that it can look better and what have you. So, but there was enjoyment at some point of it. There's an enjoyment, a pleasure factor of, I really enjoy doing this, so I need to make sure that this X, Y, and Z also fits in.
And there was a gain in it as well for you, a gain that you would be on video, people would see your nails, and there was a gain to do the habit, if you like, of not biting your nails. That became a new habit.
Yeah.
Because there was a gain for you. So we've got to wrap things up, Sue, because actually the time.
I know you and I just jabber, and well, to start with, if anyone could see us at the beginning of this podcast, it took us a few takes just to even go, hello, my name's Sue and my name's David, because we had the fits and giggles today.
You could leave those in, really, but
one day we will.
Might not be a good thing. But look, listen, if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening on the podcast, subscribe to that as well. We're getting into the habit of saying about subscribing.
Subscribing on YouTube, it's actually on the Authentic Smile YouTube channel, not on Get in the Habit YouTube channel. So you can put in YouTube Get in the Habit, but it's actually on my YouTube channel. So you'll find other meditations and other bits and bobs in there as well that you might want to help get you into the habit of different things.
It's a really good YouTube channel, actually, Sue. The other day, me and my wife said to me, "Oh, it's on YouTube, is it?" I said, "Yeah, have a look." So we put it on our TV because we've got YouTube on the TV and we could watch it on the TV. So we were sitting there and she said, "Oh, look at this." Yeah. And there we was on the telly, which was fantastic, So, yeah, I would encourage anyone who's listening to the podcast, if you really want to see us making a fool of ourselves, go onto the YouTube channel and watch us there. I don't know whether Sue will do it. Sue's going to do all the magic with the editing. Whether she puts the outtakes in, I don't know. No. Come back next week. Every Friday and every Saturday or thereabouts, we're putting the podcasts out. So come back, enjoy what we do, join in, send us comments, like us, subscribe to us, do whatever you want to do. But whatever you do, get in the habit of coming back. That's the main thing.
Absolutely.
Let's wrap it up for today. So it's been great to talk to you as always. See you in the next edition.
Yeah, great to talk to you too, David. Take care, everyone. And figure out what those habits are that you want to change and get in the habit. And don't forget to remind yourself tomorrow morning, what leg do you use first?
Oh, that's a good one.
Take care, everyone. Bye.